Yes. Always good to be back for another live show.
We are back.
We are back. I see somebody's watching. Thank you for joining us. We are excited to be back. And this one is not just live, it is live, meaning
Like fully live.
there is no recorded interview today.
Nope.
In fact, we are the guests.
Yes,
so
we are.
we're excited about that. What's good, family? Talk to us in the comments section. Let us know where you are, what you are doing, how you
Yes,
are
what's
doing.
going
Like what's going
on?
on
What's
in your
going on?
business, you know? How is things going? Have you been able to utilize some of the tools, tips, tricks, best practices that you have gleaned from the Incubators Couch? Man, we got some real across the line, and I'm excited, always excited when I hear those things. So we're excited about that. Man, we are a lot going on today. You know, when the tech brings you right down to the last absolute second. I had to completely restart everything just before going live, which is probably not a bad thing anyway.
True. Start fresh.
Probably
clean.
not a bad thing anyway. In fact, that kind of brings us into my host rant, because we're going to be talking about don't skip the tech check. That is part of our host rant today. In fact, we're going to go right into the host rant right now.
The tech check, y'all. The tech check. So important.
Yo, tech check. Say that like 5 times fast. Tech check. So I'll give you a quick little example.
Okay.
I am, of course, a producer. I do live streams and live shows, web shows, podcasts for clients on a regular basis. I never skip the tech check for myself. But there are many times that clients will say to me,
Do we really
need to do that?
Do we?
You
need it.
Man, that's so the day before the event, you want us to actually all come on and check microphones and cameras, and the answer is a solid yes. The answer is a solid yes. And the reason for that is until you've tested it, then your live stream is the test.
Yes, and you don't want to do that.
And you don't want to do that. Let me tell you something.
that.
If we had not tested our systems
I
just
know,
before
right?
going live today, we'd have found that the stream deck was dead
We'll be screwed.
while
okay?
live, and we'd be sitting here looking like, because this stream deck is how we control the entire stream.
Pretty much.
So if the stream deck doesn't work, we're done. But we were able to catch that ahead of time, completely reboot the system, get that working, and we go live without any issues. I'll give you I'm going to flip it a little bit. I want to share from a completely different side of the tech check perspective. I, as I mentioned, am a producer, and I do this live stream thing. In fact, I also do virtual events. There is a particular event that I speak at pretty much every year now, become a staple at that event, and they have tech checks for all their speakers.
Yep.
And so the people at this particular company, they know me. They know what I do. They love my work. I show up for the tech check, and the gentleman that was doing the tech check is like, "You're here? Wait, like you could teach the tech check and you're here?" The last 4 tech checks, no one showed up.
No one showed up?
No one showed up.
No, that's not good.
And he said, I am pretty certain that tomorrow for the actual live program, I'm going to have issues with all 4 of those people because they skipped the tech
Guaranteed.
check. Whereas with you, I know I'm not going to have any issues, and you're here. And this is one of the things I want to say. Even there are so many, see, I may be saying tech check and you may be thinking, okay, that's not really me. Let's be clear. Measure twice, cut once. Exactly. That does not apply to only technical things, producer things, media things, web things.
Yes. And I see Crystal, you are watching, and she is a carpenter. So she understands this. Measure. Twice, cut once. Listen, she totally understands that.
Unless you've actually tested it, you don't actually know if it works. Mm-hmm. And what I'm saying is, in this instance, I was a client. Okay. Mm-hmm. But I still, even with all my history and my knowledge, I still showed up for the tech check. And because I did that, the company that was asking me to speak paid me more.
Come on.
They were like, you're already phenomenal.
Yep.
We already know your session is going to be one of the best, just from a content perspective and delivery, because I like to speak. And then you showed up for the tech check. And I offered to do things and things. What I'm trying to say is, you never skip the tech check. All right. I'll give it to you another way. All right. I'll give it to you another way. Because some people, again, they don't want to. You got to hear it from three different angles. They might not be able to relate. Right. It is said that Kobe Bryant's trainer, he had a trainer. That in and of itself is its own message. I'm just going to pause there. But it is said that Kobe Bryant's trainer played a game over the course of a month where he would come a few minutes earlier to the gym every day in order to see if he could get to the gym before Kobe. And every time he came to the gym a few minutes earlier, he found Kobe there, either lacing up, stretching, pulling his leg one way or the other, or even already doing some drills. Every single day, he came a little bit earlier for a month. And at the end of the month, he said to Kobe, I have been trying to get here before you. And Kobe's like, my point is to always be here way ahead of you.
Yep.
If I'm going to stay at the top of my game, I've got to stay hungrier. I've actually got to put in the work ahead of time when the cameras are off, when it's not prime time, when it's not 2 seconds left and we're down by 2 points. I've got to put in the work now so that when it's time for prime time, I'm ready to go. It's the same thing as a tech check, y'all. You never skip the tech check. And I just want to say that to somebody out there who's like, man, I've done this like 2,000 times. It's that 2,001st time that something's going to crash and burn. And you always want to make sure you have the tech check.
And you don't want to have that embarrassment.
You don't.
You don't. So the host rant is show up for the tech check. Do the tech check, and trust me, you will not be sorry.
No.
You would avoid so many issues if you do that. Just do that one thing.
I have one more thing in my notes here. I was just looking at the thing to make sure I caught everything in it. And this last note says, if you want to know why television, like the one that you watch, I'm not talking about streaming, because that's just pressing play on a video. Like literally, streaming is DIY TV. You press play. But if you want to know why television, right, flows so smoothly, you should check out their tech check. I have been through multiple of them.
Yeah, they don't play.
Detailed.
They do not play like down to the second.
Down to the second.
They have it written out like this, then this, then this, then this, then this. Like for real.
It's they prefer to operate from muscle memory. How do you commit the activity to your muscle memory? You have to do it over and over and over and over again.
Exactly.
So anything that you want, hey, what's going on, fam? I see you out there chatting with us. Anything you want to flow smoothly, anything you want to seem, and this is the piece I just love. It's like, oh man, Kirk, it just seems like it's so effortless when you do it. I want that to be said. And you want that to be said of you in your business, in your service, in your products, whatever it is you might be doing. And the only way you can have that be said of you is if you've already done your tech check, your pre-check, your pre-show routine, your whatever that is, might be. But yeah. And that's our host rant for today. Yeah. I share. I always share a lot, but I'm the one speaking today, so, so I could just kind of abbreviate.
And this is more in his lane, so I'm like, go ahead, you have the stage.
No, your tech check is so absolutely critical for your business. And I would even dare say it's even critical even in your client processes if you have not checked them. We're kind of getting into our topic now. If you have not checked your process, if you've not tested that process, then what will your outcome be? The tech check, man, I'm telling you, the tech check, it is absolutely critical. But listen, we have a resource of the week, and for that section, I'm going to shut up and hand it over to my co-host.
Yeah, hit the button.
Resource of the week.
All right, guys, you can see what the resource of the week is. I'm sure some of you might have heard of Loom. Loom is amazing, guys.
Listen.
Totally amazing. For those who like to write those long, detailed emails, we talked about this in the previous show.
We did.
No one is reading those emails.
Yeah.
So people are more likely to watch a video. I'm telling you, video is like the number one thing, guys. Watching a video is so much easier than going through line by line of a long email. And that's where Loom comes in. For those long emails, instead of typing it up, just record what you have to say to your client. Just record it. They will sit and they'll watch it, guaranteed. They'll watch it more than reading an email. So definitely check out Loom. I believe it can integrate into your email.
It can.
Yes, it can, because I do have an extension where I can send it right from my email.
It on the screen, it says one video is worth 1,000 words. I think that is a gross misrepresentation of what a video can do. Because the truth of the matter is, especially with Loom, it not only records you, but it records your screen.
It can. Oh my goodness.
Right? So it records you and your screen. And so you can, for people like Kanique, who was in web, people like me, you want to show like, okay, here's how you connect into the studio, or here's how you get into the back end of the website, or whatever your thing is.
It's so much easier
to
instead
just
of typing that out.
them.
Because once they see it, they can easily follow the steps.
And they can pause.
Yes.
And they can say, that's where the mouse is. Let me, there it is.
They can go back. It's perfect. I love it.
Yeah, it is the cheat code. We always talk about that balance between what they've paid for and that white glove experience. Well, Loom allows you to have an in between, like a kind of a hybrid where you're like, okay, let me give you this. And I listen, if your email or your whatever is more than a paragraph, it's probably going to be better off in a video. So you can record like this. And I believe there's another scene here where it shows that you can share it with a link. And then I think the last one is you can actually have, interaction underneath the video in the Loom platform.
Yeah, from whoever watches it, they can leave comments, they can give feedback. It's a really good tool to have.
Really good tool.
Really cool.
No, and the last thing I want to say is there are a number of other little things out there like Loom. One of the reasons why we had not shared Loom before is because we actually thought it was a paid for application.
Yes, exactly. And when we checked out again, we're like, wait a minute. They have a free package.
Free
$3.99, y'all.
And you can do a lot with the free package.
Yes, you
so
can.
Definitely it is a no-brainer. Again, resource of the week. We want to share with you business owners, entrepreneurs, incubators, as we like to call them, resources that you can begin using today, right? Today. And so the resource of the week today is Loom, Loom. Loom. It is a screen recorder, and it does also use your camera to record you.
Yes, it does.
Man, I use this with my VA all the time, and it is like literally sitting in a meeting with her, because sometimes she will send me back a Loom.
Yeah, she can send back a Loom. That's really cool.
And she'll be like, well, this is what I see on my end. I'm like, oh, my bad. So it's kind of like having a Zoom meeting, but not having a Zoom meeting, because it's like, she's doing it in her time. I'm doing it in my time. She's in the Philippines, by the way. So
it's like Marco Polo for business.
If
y'all remember Marco Polo a couple years ago.
We're kind of dating ourselves now. Marco Polo. Anybody remember Marco Polo? Like, drop that in the chat. If you remember Marco Polo, let us know. That was a while ago. That was a while ago. Man, talk about taking it back. Marco. Everybody remembers the pool game, but there was an actual app that was a messaging, kind of like a two-way radio, like a walkie-talkie kind of a scenario. It was really cool. But yeah, that's our resource for the week. And now for I was waiting for you
Do
to
I
say
need
it.
to introduce you? Like,
Well,
okay, so
the Incubator Spotlight.
yes, the Incubator Spotlight for
Come
today
on.
is Komposition LLC.
LLC.
We'll be featuring what we offer in regards to the services, which is web design and live video strategy.
Come on.
And run the video. I don't want to talk too much. Go
Here
ahead.
we go.
Introducing Komposition's remote live stream service, your #1 live production source for small businesses, entrepreneurs, and faith-based entities. You have the idea, the message, the value to offer? Let us take care of the graphics, technology, and media for your web shows, video podcasts, or virtual conferences. Overlays, bumper videos, intro and outro videos. We even offer live stream graphics packages for the do-it-yourself streamer. Let's build your brand with live video. For more information, email contact us at yourkomposition.com or visit yourkomposition.com/go live.
I love this.
I totally forgot that we had that video.
I love this.
Totally forgot.
I love this. I love this. I love this. You know why I love this? I love this because how many of you were at the first episode? Just a show of hands. Just put a 1 in the chat if you were at episode number 1 of the Incubators Couch. This is episode number 11. Am I saying that right? I think so. It's in the description. What's in the description? I believe this is episode number 11. I want to verify that.
Keep talking. Yeah. I'll tell you.
Deborah Brewer says 1. Gary Jones says 1. We got some 1s in the chat. And so if you were at that first episode of Incubators Couch, you remember that our guest was Kanique. Kanique shared a story. It's number 11, right?
It's 11.
Kanique shared a story. And so for the past literally 9 episodes, we have had guests. Guest after guest after guest after guest, and it's been phenomenal. We love having our guests.
It's been really great having everyone.
But today, it is just the two of us. This is not recorded. This is LIVE.
It's fully live,
Yeah, what Deborah says, wow, 11. Yes, this is number 11. And we are excited to be able to share another story from us. Seesaw Studio says number 1. Of course you were at that first one. I mean, how could you not be there?
Yes, he was.
But so one of the things I love to tell people is you've got to curate the experience. This is like a phrase that people will know me for. It's like, oh, that's the curate guy. Yes, you got to curate the experience. And why do I know that? Is because of certain experiences that I've had with client projects. So in this particular with this particular client, this was a school in the Northeast area. Probably one of the bigger projects I've done to date. I mean, like, it included some of everything.
You can tell by my facial expressions, I'm not really sure what he's talking about yet.
Oh man!
So I'm waiting. Which one is
so and this came about. So what ended up happening was a good friend of ours, their kids actually go to the school, and she sits on the board. So they were looking for somebody to produce a fundraiser event. Because it had to be virtual because of the pandemic, right? So they're looking for somebody to do that. Also on that same board is a lady who has been awarded on my show. Her name is Allison Davis. She is a trailblazer in the media world. She used to work for NBC and several other major news houses. There's several viral videos that are referring back to her. Okay. So Allison Davis, she's been on the show twice, and we even gave her one of our Trailblazer Awards, not this past February, but the February before. So Allison Davis also on that board. Unbeknown to me, Allison is a subscriber of the
Yes, she
channel.
is.
So when our good friend says, hey, I got a guy, he's a good friend of ours, he produces these kinds of shows, would love to bring him in and have him talk with the team, see if it's something that's in his wheelhouse, if he can assist us. And so Allison says, oh, so who's the guy? She's like, oh, Kirk Nugent. She's like, what? I follow him on YouTube. I'm a subscriber. I check out his videos. And so Saba tells me this. I immediately start to feel pressure. Because I'm like, oh,
Instant
my
pressure.
word. Because I Googled who she is. And I'm like, you're following me?
And she's a beast.
I need to be following you.
Yes.
So that I'm just saying all of that to kind of set the groundwork. Like this was a massive, major project.
It was a major project. Yeah.
Of a nature that probably up until that point I had not really experienced. Multiple moving parts. I was going to be producing the show remotely from my home studio here in Huntsville, but this school is in New York. And there was going to be an on-site studio. There was going to be a team that I was going to liaise with. There was a lot of moving parts.
Going on.
There was 5 pages of scenes and assets and changes, and it was amazing. Now, I walked them through the initial discovery call, that interest meeting where I'm kind of, this is what it's going to look like. Here's some of the assets that I've done for other previous types of projects and productions. But of course, they're looking for a lot more custom type things. So I'm sharing with them with what I thought was very clear instructions and guides in terms of what to expect. And I remember we had a number of things back and forth. In fact, even feedback on assets that were created for the actual production. It was not until like the week before the actual production itself, we had a final meeting to approve all of the assets and make sure any final changes were needed. Got to have your tech check. And in that meeting, I realized that they had created assets for the show that I had already quoted them that we would create. Wow. And so I'm looking at them, this whole scenario like, wait, no. So, and as I'm showing them the ones we created, of course, they're like, let's use those. But the lady who created the ones they created is like, man, that would have saved me some time.
Oh my goodness.
Had I known that you guys were actually going to create that. I'm sitting here scratching my head trying to figure out how in the world did they not know I was creating these? And I remember having that follow-up conversation with my good friend who was also on the board, was not my direct liaison, but I just had this side conversation with her just to kind of hear from her, like, where did we miss a step? Because I thought it was clear that all these things were going to be created. And she said the same thing. I thought it was clear that all these things were going to be created as well. I don't know what the mix up was. And as I went through the rest of the process with the client, I will say that it did go off well. It was one of those projects that I love to point back to, but because of the client and the nature of their business and different things like that, I actually cannot show it off. It was not a public thing. Anyway, but the point is, as we began having some of those other follow-up conversations, this is when I realized that my intake process needed to be fine-tuned. My intake process needed to have some additional details added. Yes. My intake process was missing what I like to, because a lot of the projects that I do are custom. And so I have a generic set of assets that I show people, like, just to give them a look and feel like this is what it looks like. Yeah. But because they did not see in that generic package some of the assets that they were going to need, they were like, okay, that's what he can do, and we will need to add to it.
Okay.
They walked away with that understanding. I'm saying to them, here's a general understanding of but we're going to create specifically what you're looking for. And so I have since put other things in place to be able to make sure, especially for my custom projects, that we are going to be on the same page. Yeah. That we are, there is no double work that is created. Yes. This was a client who, they were so happy with the end product, they even did a tip. So I didn't have any issue on those other pieces, or, you know, in terms of like, well, we had to do work too, so let's take some money off. I would have done that gladly because of the misunderstanding. But I'm saying as I went forward, I wanted to make sure we were in a position where I could have my process clearly defined for the client, what they're going to get.
Yes.
And this was the main thing that I walked away with, is like, man, it's actually possible to have a discovery call, to have an intake meeting, to onboard a new client, and they still not know what they're going to get as a finished product. Like they don't know what the finish line is. And in business, I feel like that is a disaster.
It is.
This particular project ended well, but I mean, the hairs on my neck stood up.
It could have ended.
It could have been a disaster.
Yes.
It could have been a disaster. That communication piece is so critical in business. If you leave that thing up to chance, and being able to, I love the comments, Deborah, and being able to clearly articulate those things in a way that what I mean by this is, people who are not in your area of expertise, right?
Yes.
They are laymen. And because they are not professionals in your area of expertise, you need to say in common vernacular.
You got to break it down.
You got to break it down to the lowest common denominator.
Yes.
This is what you're going to get. And I think a lot of us suffer from that.
True.
Not being able to, listen, this is actually, hold on, you're actually going to get these things. And I think it's actually, if you frame it right, it can be a positive experience for the client, because they're actually getting some of the things that they thought they weren't getting.
Yes.
But what also can backfire is if they think they're getting more than what they're actually supposed to get. That is a two-way street. Now, in this particular incident, this particular example that I've shared, this story that I've shared with this client, it was on the positive side where they were actually getting more than they thought they were going to get. But I have had scenarios where the client thought that everything was included that they saw me do for someone else, but that's not the package they chose. And I had to make that very clear at multiple iterations, at multiple different meetings with that particular client. I just feel like there's as business owners, as service providers, there's got to be ways for us to be able to engage with our clients in a way that allows them to know to not only know what they're going to get, but you are taking them through a process that you know is designed for them to walk away with a particular understanding. Yeah.
I would say lots of communication. And even though you said something once, definitely say it over and over again, because we've been in situations where you've said something in the beginning, the client is completely not getting that piece. Like they completely didn't realize that, he did say that, and they've completely missed it. So definitely communicate that, whatever those things that are necessary, that are required, that you need to get across to the client. Right. Repeat it once, repeat it again, because sometimes they just don't get it, or they just don't understand it clearly.
One of the other things that I thought was very interesting, this is the last piece of the story with this particular client, we had a full dress rehearsal. And let me tell you, this is like speaking my love language. When they said to me, oh, by the way, this was at the beginning, right? They said, we will pay for your time to do a full dress rehearsal.
Gotta love it.
I was like, oh, that's golden.
That is excellent.
So we did the entire broadcast for the fundraiser that we were going to do live. We did that I think 3 or 4 days prior, the entire thing. Now, this was the first time I was meeting. They had, so this is all virtual, by the way, guys. And a part of the virtual scenario, they had a DJ playing music into the virtual room. They also had a mixologist, like a bartender. Like they shipped, oh, come on, y'all. They shipped all the things to create a mint julep, which is a type of drink. To all the major donors that were a part of the fundraiser. So cool. They shipped the bag, the hammer. All they had to purchase was ice. They shipped the whiskey, they shipped the mint, everything to make this drink. And the mixologist walked them through the process of creating this drink live. Yeah. So at the dress rehearsal was the first time I was meeting the mixologist and the DJ. And we had to actually work out some kinks to make sure that everything flowed well and that there wasn't ducking and making sure that the audio was good. But it was in that process that they realized the DJ actually did not need several pieces of equipment that he needed. He ended up bringing. That was number one. Number two, the mixologist was not prepared, like not at all for what it was that he was going to need to be doing. So being able to go through that process and see the other sides of the coin, meaning I am one service provider, they're working alongside two other service providers to create this experience and really make it one that is memorable for the client who all of us are serving, wanting to make sure that all of our stuff work in concert. We, the three of us, actually met outside of the dress rehearsal.
That makes so much sense.
And were able to smooth everything out.
Yes.
And get this, I've done business with that DJ a couple more times after that.
Yeah.
And even though I never did business with the mixologist again, I just don't have clients that drink like that. I'm just saying. But the mixologist had 3 cameras. One was on his hand, one was on his face, one was to the side. I mean, his setup was dope. But it just, imagining integrating that into an entire other production and being able to switch to him and take in all these other things. It was an interesting process. But that other tech check, that other side meeting that we had, which we did as a value add to the client, was one that allowed for all of them to feel better about the end product, the end production. And that was part of the reason when they cited, hey, we really want to give you this tip. That was part of the reason they cited for wanting to do that, because as the producer, I pulled together those two people and we had that meeting. So I learned a lot in there, even though, I want you to catch this, y'all. You are an independent service provider. If a client is working with multiple other vendors, somebody's going to have to run quarterback.
Yep.
And they may or may not pay for that. And a lot of the times, Kanique and I will do this. When we bring in other vendors, we make it seamless. We will pay that vendor and present the client with one bill.
That is so much easier. We do not
even put that vendor in touch with the client so that the client still has that experience, that seamless experience with just us. And I think that's something that I really wanted to highlight in terms of this particular project as well. Yeah. I don't know how many of you, look, put a 5 in the chat if you've ever worked on a project where there were at least one or two other service providers that were, listen, every time there becomes this finger pointing process. Well, the guy was,
we're waiting on
this. The audio guy didn't do such and such. We did a wedding once. The audio guy, when he showed up with his equipment, I'm putting in air quotes because it wasn't equipment. I was like, that's not equipment. But somebody's got to run quarterback for that thing. And while I'm not suggesting that we as business owners should volunteer for that position every single time, we do have to be mindful that your ability to deliver a quality product sometimes can be, listen, if the sound guy doesn't give me good sound, my entire production is dead in the water. So there
doesn't look good on us.
No, there are particular sound people that I like to work with if I'm local, and if I have that latitude to make that call. But then there are other times where I'm just like, I got to get with this sound guy ahead of time to make sure that we're going to be able to put our best foot forward, because a lot of what I'm doing is going to be hinged on the quality work. I mean, for you, anybody that's writing copy, anybody that's doing pictures, anybody that's doing graphic design, if those pieces, and this is rounding out the last piece of what we want to share in terms of this particular story, even though we're like way early, but it is that you want to make sure you corner that list of people that you are actually working with.
That's like your preferred vendor list.
Talk about it.
Only people that you're comfortable and confident working with. Like, I'm not just going to send people to just a random person.
No.
Like, I'm working with people that I trust and know will deliver quality service or product.
Yeah. And a lot of times we have had to actually purchase the services of said provider for us before we purchase it on behalf of a client, because we want to see what it's like.
Yeah.
We want to see their entire process, how they handle the entire thing, so that when we send a client, we know what they're getting.
Yes.
When I talk about those two questions, that is the title of the live today. Have you tested your client process? Does your client know what they're going to get? That is absolutely critical.
It is.
That is absolutely critical.
It definitely is.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to have a happy client.
And just a really good engagement, a really good engagement with the client. Everybody knows what the goal line is, what the finish line is. This right here is when we get to do our touchdown dance, right? and if we all know that that's when it is, then when it happens, we can all dance, right? We can all dance. We can dance happily. But if they don't know what they're getting, and truth be told, sometimes we don't know that they don't know. And that's why building into your process, right? Checks and balances, times where you say, just reiterating, this is what you're getting.
Yes.
Then you can have those pieces and be confident with it. Talk to me in the chat, man. What you guys got out there? I see David Hunt just showed up. Doc, you don't have to apologize. Deborah says, I've been hired as a vendor for an ongoing project, but the person who hired me to do what I'm doing is new to their business and still isn't clear what they providing to their client. And I'm trying to help. Ooh, Deborah. Because that vendor will overpromise, and unfortunately, sometimes they will underdeliver because they don't know what all goes into it. I remember doing we had what's the term, masterclass, and
exactly, Deborah.
For remote producers, I can't cheat my time or value my services. We had a masterclass, and I was talking to some other remote producers who are like me. They produce shows for clients, and this lady was, basically pouring out her entire heart about how she basically got taken advantage of. She put everything into this show that she did, but a lot of it was not the client's fault. A lot of it was she was new to being a producer. And so she was just doing all the things that she would do for her own show. And I'm like, you can't do that. They can't afford what you do for your show. And so when it was all said and done, while the client was ecstatic about the service and the broadcast, they did not pay for 40% of what she provided. And so now she's left with this original bill, the original payment that does not reflect all of the extras and the extra things that she put into it. And she was really, really upset. She was like, I'm like, yeah, but what are you going to do? You're going to go back and charge the client again? This is a critical point, Deborah, and I'm glad you brought this up. Sometimes it's not the client that doesn't know what they're going to get. It's you. Sometimes the client is very clear on what they're supposed to get, and you're not. Yeah. And so you keep on adding and adding.
Ooh, no, girl, don't. So she says they didn't charge the client enough, so they are coming out of pocket. But I can't keep lowering my price to adjust to what she is trying. Girl, do not lower your price. No. Don't do it.
No. It's 50,000 no's. I love this. Deborah. We're going to have you on. I don't know how we're going to work that out, but we're going to have you on so we can just chat it up with you. Yes. Because I see it. I see it right now. And one of the things that in the scenario where a service provider, where us as incubators, as business owners, as entrepreneurs, when we are not sticking to what it is we know the client is supposed to get, we create this resentment. That's the term I'm looking for. Yep. We create resentment because now you're upset because you feel like you're doing all these extras, but the client has not ever asked for any of them. They did not. They didn't ask for them. And so all of those pieces are why I like to have my packages very clear. And here's the other thing. If you've ever heard me present, I have this thing called give them the pickle. Just give it to them. The idea is, though, that you have predefined what your extra is, and you already built it into what you're going to give them. So you know what your extra is. I already know when somebody books this package, this is an extra that I'm going to give them. They didn't ask for it. I am not asking for payment for it. So I'm just going to give them that thing, one thing. So now I feel good. I've given them more than what they asked for, but I've given them no more. And it's not extra for me because I had planned to give them that extra.
You were going to do that. Right. Yes.
Yeah. Seesaw Studio says, I had to be clear. We had to be realistic about their wants versus their needs.
And he was talking about his previous comment where he says, it took a while for churches to understand I can't give you the wedding/music video experience weekly. Those are months of planning for one and done day. Yeah. I had to be clear. This is what I can do weekly. Definitely. Yeah.
For a church production and a wedding production, it's two totally different productions.
Completely different.
There are extras, there are things. Listen, the purse strings are so loose when it comes onto a wedding.
Oh, no, right?
Whereas for a church, you can forget it. Deborah says, yes, I was a little upset today because they came back to me trying to get me to come down some more. And I just said, Deborah, man, I commiserate, man. And here's the thing I like to say to business owners, we say to one another, it's okay to be upset, to have your moment, to just be pissed off, because it's not fair.
Definitely, yeah.
Because it's not fair. It is not fair for some, and then it's not even your fault, right? That this person has found themselves in this situation, and now you have to be the one trying to figure out how to squeeze your value into their budget. Doesn't work.
No, it
doesn't work. David Hunt, my guy, says, can you give them the extra and put it in the invoice as a bonus? You can put it in the invoice and discount it to zero.
You can. And we've done that so that they can see it.
Yeah, so that they can see it. The final invoice, I don't put it in the initial invoice because I want them to know that it's going to be something bonus that we're just throwing in. I want them to be surprised is the term I'm looking for. So hopefully that makes sense, David, but thank you so much for the question. That helps out a lot. I was thinking, do we do this to stores like Walmart? Come on.
No, we don't.
We do not do that. We do not do that. There's so again, also recognizing your caliber client, right? With this particular client that I just shared about, this school that we were doing the fundraiser for, they presented themselves almost immediately as a top tier client, meaning the funding was not an issue. Not at all. I can say this because they sent me an email and they were like, that fundraiser that you helped us produce raised double their goal. And their goal was $300K. They raised double with a virtual event. And so my fee is nowhere near. Nothing. My God, I wish I had done more.
Increase.
But my point is, I think as entrepreneurs and business owners, I think there's you must test the waters. I'm not saying change your price, but you do need to recognize the type of client that you have. What I say that is, there are times where I'm saying to myself, I don't want to add anything extra because this client is already having trouble with paying my normal fee. Yeah. Whereas with a client like this one, it's like, man, I wonder, should I add that? Don't wonder, because they're more interested in the experience.
Yes, they are.
And so you recognize the type of client you're working with, and you're like, you call another meeting. Hey. Yeah. As I was working on so-and-so, I was thinking about adding this in. What are your thoughts? This is what it will look like. This is what it will impact. This is the type of experience it'll be for the audience. What are you thinking? Yes, and yes. Kirk, do it. Oh, well, it's going to add this amount to the invoice. We don't care because of the type of client.
Yes, you've got to know the client.
So you've got to know that client and recognize that this client, there's room. Ooh, I like that. There is room with this particular client to be able to, spread your creative wings a little bit and kind of give them more. And so that more, as David was asking, is like, man, maybe you add the bonus to the thing. Yes, but there are other pieces that you can add in that are not free.
That's true. Yeah.
Just based on your client. So understanding your client, knowing your type of client. I'm not saying you change your prices based on the client. I'm saying you recognize that in this scenario, we are not cinching up the belt. right? We're not trying to make it work on a shoestring. We actually have some latitude and some playroom to be able to get some other things done. Yeah. Man, I'm hoping that all that was shared here has been good, and we're making good on that value proposition in terms of what is that process? Have you tested it? And secondly, more importantly, does the client know, like beyond a shadow of a doubt, what they're going to get from your engagement? And I love what we've been able to come up with just in the process of conversation, because it is critical for us as businesses to know what the client is supposed to walk away with as well. Man, but listen, in the chat, man, put some questions. We don't generally have time for Q&A.
We don't, but we certainly do today.
We definitely do today. I mean, we don't have a whole lot of time, but we definitely have time for Q&A. So put it in the chat. What are some of the things anything that you would want to ask us? It doesn't have to be on the particular topic that we're talking about right now, but put something in. We want to take some time to kind of prime that pump. We want to see if there are any questions out there. We got several of you hanging out with us, some on LinkedIn, some of you on Facebook, some on YouTube. Yeah. And we want to say a word of thanks to all of you for coming through and hanging out. We are excited about the growth and the way that this platform has been growing for us. That's why we continued it. Actually getting ready to do my live show right after this one, because I've moved my live show to 8:30. Because listen, the Incubators Couch is here to stay. Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Now, and listen, while your questions are coming out.
And by the way, guys, we finally got the shirts.
You literally
for the winners.
Right.
They should have gone out today. So make sure you're checking your mailbox the next couple of days for it to come in.
If you were one of those original winners.
Yes, we have not forgotten you guys.
We have not forgotten you. Yes.
A process since we've been away for the past couple months.
And
and we are going to have our gear as well.
We will be wearing them
by the end of the week. So
we will be wearing them. Next week we have on the couch Jess. I was waiting for you to say it. Okay, Jessica Dudley. We're excited to have Jess with us on the couch next week. And
that's a good one,
we had
y'all.
a really good time with Jess. It's a good one. It's a good one. But we hope to be wearing our T-shirts when Jess.
Hopefully, yes.
Next week when we have Jess on. So that'll be dope. I didn't get a chance to compete for the shirts.
Are you sure, David? Are you sure? I could have sworn I sent something for David.
David, you were part of
I thought he did.
The week.
That first
remember the promo
launch,
week. Remember the promo week. There was a whole set of shows. Seesaw Studios is saying sweet because I know Seesaw is one of the winners during that week. So, but yeah, David, I want to say you were on that week.
David, you're on there.
Yeah, David's on there.
Yeah,
David's on that list.
Yeah,
it was
James
Hicks,
Steve
James
Woods,
Hicks,
David Hunt, Bryant Taylor.
Yeah. No, Donita was on there too.
Didn't we get her something separate? We gave her money. We gave her a gift card.
I thought she got a T-shirt. Oh yes, some people got the Amazon, $10 Amazon gift card. Yes, and then others got the T-shirt. You are correct. She did the work.
She said, "Praise the Lord with me." David,
come on in. Okay. Let me leave you alone. Listen, but no. I'm still throwing it out there. 11 of you on the live right now. We're excited to have all 11 of you. We're just doing a little bit of a recap right now. We're opening up the floor for Q&A.
Yeah.
Throw a question in the comment section with a Q in front of it, and we'll be able to answer that thing. Whether it's about business, whether it's about LLC, how to structure your services, whatever it might be. Maybe if you have suggestions for other types of people that you would like to see us have on the couch, or types of things that you'd want to see us have on the couch. Maybe you just want to have a vent session. Go ahead and put your venting in the chat right now. Deborah has shared with us a very frustrating situation, and we hope that she was able to, let off some steam. This is what the Incubators Couch is all about.
It is.
We want you to settle in. We want you to have, this is your space. This is your 1 hour of investing in you for your mental health, hearing from other people and entrepreneurs and businesses who are engaged in some of the very same things that you're having to do on a day-to-day basis. The product and service that you put out might be different, but
the frustrations are the same.
The frustrations are so similar. Sometimes you're saying to yourself, like, oh my gosh, I feel like we have the same client. And that has happened,
Yes,
that has happened here at the Incubators Couch. So Let us know in the comments where we are. Micah says, I will see you at 8:30 in the live chat. Let the Lord use you. No, I'm excited
That's
for that,
awesome.
Micah.
That's
I'm
awesome.
excited for that. I've got a different setup in the studio.
Again, because didn't
One
you
that I'm
just...
absolutely happy with. One that I'm
boy.
absolutely happy with. I want to say that as well. Because you know, the OCD, I change it because I have to see it in order to look. The tech check is how I live. I change it so that I can see it, and then once I see it, I feel like it's working. But then until I do a live, like I had done this past Friday night,
And then he changed it.
and I was literally during the cafe on Friday night, I was like, this is not working.
It's not working.
This is not working. And then we had some guests over on Saturday, and we had them come in and record, and I was like, this is absolutely not working.
Okay.
So I already knew it will be changed. Okay. And so what her and the kids went somewhere yesterday, and when they came back
like,
the
what
joint was completely
happened
changed.
here?
But I will say, in the time frame that they left and came back, I changed it 2 times. So what you see right now is actually the finished product.
Oh my goodness. I can't deal. Okay.
Oh my goodness. Listen.
But anytime, time is wrapping up. It is now, what time is it?
It is 7:50.
7:50.
It's 7:50.
So,
It's a nice round time to be able to kind of land this plane. Listen, if you have comments and questions, don't feel like you have to only put them in the live. Please feel free to put the comments for the replay as well. I don't know why I'm stumbling on that. If you're watching this on replay, please feel free. We will respond to those comments. If you notice, there's either a composition response or a Kanique or Kirk response underneath all of those comments on our videos. Yes. So we want to make sure you guys get a chance to see that as well.
Okay, I see Seesaw posted something. He said, okay, vent session. Had a client's family promise me no phones during the wedding ceremony. Her mom snuck in a tablet, stood in front of me right before the kiss. I had to bump her out the way. But that's why it's in my contract. I'm not responsible for family or friends in any way. Oh my goodness. The tablet. When we would go to weddings, we would see people holding up the big tablet,
and then
taking pictures.
It was the tablet, and then the case would fold down. So you had this
my gosh,
big thing.
Blocking
like,
everybody's view. Like,
on?
What in the world are you doing? Like, put the tablet away, please. Like, seriously. And I don't blame you. Bump them out the way. Like, come on. You have a professional photographer.
Yo, I'm just thinking about that whole scenario.
It's ridiculous.
Like, Seesaw, that is crazy.
She might be mad, but she be all right.
That is crazy.
Please.
That has to be a line in your contract. I'm blown right now. You have it in your contract that I am not responsible for family and friends. Wow.
That is insane. Like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, the tablet is way worse than a phone, Doc.
It's
I mean, at least the phone, you just be like, but good night. If somebody's got a tablet, that joint blocks out the sun, man.
The tablet be like this.
Yo, if you turn it like this, that's about the size. The tablet is about right here, and then the case, that's crazy. You can't see nothing. You can't see nobody. That's madness.
Oh my goodness.
That is madness. Oh, I have a full half page about devices.
Really?
That's crazy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yo, you know what would be really dope? To just look like crazy things that's in my contracts.
That would be really cool.
That would be really cool. I think that's the Incubators Couch. That's the next thing that we need to. This is why I love live.
I'm writing that down, y'all.
Crazy things that's in my contract.
Cause man, I have had to put a lot of stuff in my contract. Like
crazy. Cause that right there,
man,
I am blown away. And yet,
yeah,
I don't need any explanation. It makes perfect sense, Steve Woods. Perfect sense. That needs to be in your contract. It's probably in every photographer's contract, now that I think about it. But I'm just like, man, that is crazy. That is how that works out.
That has to be in there. Wow, that's crazy.
That's absolute madness. That is 13 of you guys hanging out with us. It's like the numbers just keep on rising. Anybody else want to share anything? I love that share right there, Seesaw.
Yeah, that is hilarious, man.
Man, what a comment. I'm just thinking about, I see the visual of you having to elbow the mother of the bride out of the way. Hey, I gotta get the kiss.
Like the kiss, like
Fam.
If you miss that as a photographer, like
yeah,
you would get crucified for that.
You'd be crucified.
Like, for real. Oh my goodness.
People don't read emails or contracts.
They don't.
But I don't know. I feel like the OCD in me. Now I'm like, man, I should have made an announcement at the wedding. Just be like, yo, no devices.
True, for
because
real.
yeah, that's a disaster.
It is.
If your photographer cannot get the shot,
Ooh, that's not good.
Oh,
that's not good.
I would be hot.
Like, do not try and sue me because I didn't get the shot. It's your family member you need to be mad at.
No,
not me.
I'll be hot. I'll be raging mad.
True, I got you. Not with the kiss, because that's not happening again.
No.
Like, you can't be like, whoa. Let's redo that. Like, no.
Wow, Doc.
No.
You know, this is I'm gonna tell you right now. Just as you saying those two little things,
yeah,
it's confirming yet all over again why we did one wedding,
and we were like,
that's
done.
it.
I'm done.
Never again.
No, thank you.
That as we've said here on the Incubators Couch before. Early in business, you are still doing different things that you're trying out,
figure it out,
and you realize like that's not my
not
ministry.
for me.
No.
Not weddings.
Not weddings.
No.
I do not do weddings. Somebody asked me to stream a wedding. I was like, no, I don't stream weddings. I don't do anything to do with a wedding.
Because it's so much high. It's high frustration. Everyone is up here. Like everyone is here.
Way too much.
It's just no.
It's too much, fam.
Anyway.
That's it for us. We are super excited for everything that's happening at Incubators Couch. Like we said, T-shirts are going out. We want to make sure that the winners get their T-shirts first, and then we're going to actually put them up. So hopefully, I'm hoping next week that we'll have them on. But if we don't, following week or something, somewhere there in August, we'll get it together. But whenever we have them on, look for a QR code or a link or something.
It will be linked to the store.
Because it will already be like iCouch.live/store or something like that, or merch or something like that. We'll figure it out to make sure that you guys can get directly to those shirts. Right now we just have one, but we have multiple that will be coming out because you guys have been really good in suggesting T-shirts or coming up with these one-liners that are just absolute gold. You can't pay for dopeness and stuff like that. Are you a Clientzilla? Post-traumatic client disorder.
I know.
There's just so many different T-shirts that we're so excited about putting out there, and I want to wear them. I want to wear them. Wear them proudly to my networking meetings, to the Chamber of Commerce. I was like post-traumatic client disorder. Bang. I feel like I'm gonna walk in and somebody's gonna be like, I need that shirt. Like immediately.
Put the QR code on the shirt.
Yes,
too.
I might have to do that.
Yes.
Y'all, we could talk all night. You know how we do. So with that, we are excited about all that's happening. Excited for you guys being here all throughout the time that we've been live today. You heard us with the host Rant. You were able to, jump in for resource of the week. Make sure you check out Loom. The free package is there. Yes. But then we also want to make sure you guys walk away with those two things. It is so critical to make sure that there is clear and concise communication between you and the client such that they know what they're getting because you've tested your process. Yeah. Because you've tested your process. Fam, it's been great. We'll catch you guys next week in the next show. Later. Incubators Couch is unscripted, vulnerable conversations with business owners and entrepreneurs just like you. Later, fam.